Make yourself comfortable. Dim the lights if you can. And if NEPA has taken the light, well, charge your phone well and use your data wisely, because this story? Omo, this one proper story. Long ago, and I mean long ago, before WhatsApp groups, before new month, new me, before anybody knew what jollof rice controversy even was, there existed a kingdom, the great Benin Kingdom. And when I say great, I don't mean great the way your uncle calls his restaurant great, even though the pepper soup is mid. No, I mean truly, genuinely magnificent. The palace walls were carved with stories of warriors and gods. Bronze sculptures lined the courtyards. Real bronze, not the kind they sell you at Oshodi and tell you it's original. The kingdom was rich, the people were proud, and the Oba, King Adeyemi, ruled with the kind of authority that made grown men kneel before they even entered the room. Now, on this particular night, something extraordinary happened. Queen Morenike, a woman so beautiful that poets ran out of adjectives, gave birth to a baby girl, and the heavens, as if they had been watching the whole time, decided to put on a show. The moon turned red, not pink, not orange, blood red. The kind of red that makes old women start praying in tongues and young men start checking Twitter to see if it's the end of the world. The kingdom erupted in celebration. Drummers drummed, masquerade dancers flooded the courtyard. The big ones with the wooden masks and the raffia skirts that used to terrify you as a child don't lie. Palm wine flowed like water. Children danced barefoot in the dust. It was the kind of owambe that would trend for 7 days straight if Instagram existed. But, and there's always a but in these stories, the elders were whispering. You see, the Edo people have a saying, when the moon bleeds, it weeps for what is to come. A child born under a red moon carries destiny on her head. The kind of destiny that doesn't ask for your permission. The kind that shows up uninvited. They named her Adisua, meaning in the midst of prosperity. A beautiful name, a hopeful name, a name that, unfortunately, was about to be tested by the kind of drama that would make Nollywood producers weep with jealousy. Now, every good story needs a villain. And ours was not your regular villano. She wasn't some random wicked woman from the next village. No. This was Iya Aje, and before she became the terror of bedtime stories, she was the most powerful priestess the kingdom had ever known. Let me give you the backstory, because Nigerians love backstory. Iya Aje had served the kingdom for decades. She communed with the ancestors. She healed the sick. She blessed the harvests. The woman was practically the spiritual engine of the whole operation. But then King Adeyemi's father, a man with more ego than sense, if we're being honest, decided she was becoming too powerful, too influential, too much of a woman with opinions. So he banished her to the forest like yesterday's newspaper. She went quietly. But quiet and forgotten are two very different things. So picture this. It's the naming ceremony for baby Adisua. The courtroom is packed. Nobles in their finest coral beads. Chiefs with their red caps sitting at angles that defy physics. The air smells of incense and roasted goat. King Adeyemi is on his throne, looking like a man who has everything figured out. And then, the doors blast open. So drama. The torches flickered. The temperature dropped. And there she stood, Iya Aje, with white dreadlocks flowing like waterfalls, eyes glowing like embers from a fire that never went out. Her ebony staff struck the ground, and the sound echoed through the hall like thunder had come to pay its respects. The nobles froze. The queen clutched her baby. Even the palace cat, because every palace has one, ran for cover. Iya Aje looked at the king. Then she looked at the baby. And then she smiled. The kind of smile that makes your stomach turn because you know nothing good is coming. "You banished me," she said, her voice like gravel and honey. "Your father stripped me of my title and cast me into the wilderness. And now you celebrate. without even sending an invitation.
She raised her staff.
Hear me well, King of Benin. Before this child sees her 18th year, iron shall taste her blood, and sleep shall swallow this kingdom whole. Every soul within these walls shall close their eyes, and the world will forget you ever existed. The staff struck the ground. Lightning cracked the sky, and just like that, she vanished into smoke and shadows. For 30 seconds, nobody breathed. Then the baby started crying, and honestly, same. Now, what would a rational person do? Consult the elders, seek spiritual counsel, maybe try to reconcile with the woman you wronged. You know, diplomacy. But King Adeyemi chose violence. Well, not violence exactly. He chose panic, which in leadership is somehow worse. Ban all iron, he declared from his throne, pointing dramatically like a man who had just discovered he was allergic to common sense. Every piece of iron in this kingdom, gone. Melt it, bury it, throw it in the river. I don't care. If iron does not exist, the curse cannot be fulfilled. Omo, the logic was creative. I'll give him that. The blacksmiths, who had done nothing wrong except be really good at their jobs, were chased out of the kingdom. Grown men, soot-covered and confused, running through the palace gates with their hammers, wondering what they did to deserve this. It was like being fired from a job you didn't even apply for.
The palace kitchen.
Stone knives. Have you ever tried to cut yam with a stone knife? It's not a cooking experience, it's a workout. The palace maids were building biceps they didn't ask for. The guards carried wooden spears. Wooden spears. One termite away from being completely unarmed. As the Yoruba people say, the man who is afraid of the rain burns down his own house to stay dry. King Adeyemi didn't just burn his house, he burned the whole neighborhood. But did the curse care about his iron ban? My friend, curses do not negotiate with human anxiety. Now, fast forward about 16 years. Baby Adisua is no longer a baby. She's a teenager, and if you think teenage rebellion is bad in modern Lagos, imagine a princess who has been locked in a palace her entire life, with zero access to the outside world, zero iron, and absolutely zero patience left.
Adisua was intelligent.
The kind of intelligent that made her tutors uncomfortable because she asked questions they couldn't answer. Why is iron banned? Why can't I leave the palace? Why does father flinch every time someone mentions a spindle? The adults would exchange nervous glances and change the subject. Classic Nigerian parenting. Don't ask questions, just do as you're told. But Adisua was not the just do as you're told type, not even close. She started sneaking out at night, and I mean proper stealth, tiptoeing past guards who were, frankly, not very good at their jobs. One guard was always sleeping, another one was perpetually eating suya. She could have driven a convoy past them and they wouldn't have noticed. She'd slip through a gap in the palace wall and disappear into the streets. The markets became her classroom. She'd sit with the traders and listen to their stories. The cloth sellers taught her about dyes from indigo plants. The food sellers taught her which peppers could make a grown man cry. Useful knowledge, honestly. She befriended the market women, those powerful, no-nonsense women who could negotiate the price of anything down to nothing and still make you feel like you got a good deal. One old woman, Mama Biodun, she called herself, once told Adisua, "My daughter, a bird that has never flown does not know it has wings." That stuck with her. It stuck hard. Adisua began to question everything. If iron was truly the enemy, why did the rest of the world use it freely? Why was she being protected from something she didn't understand? And most importantly, what were they not telling her? She came close to being caught several times. Once, a guard spotted her shadow near the wall. She froze. He squinted into the darkness, shrugged, and went back to his suya. God bless that man and his priorities. But curiosity, as we know, is a stubborn tenant. It doesn't leave just because you ask nicely. Adisua had discovered a part of the palace she'd never seen before. A forgotten corridor behind the old library, hidden by a tapestry so dusty it probably had its own ecosystem. Behind the tapestry was a door. Behind the door was a room. And inside that room, sitting on a wooden pedestal, like it had been waiting patiently for 17 years, was an iron spindle. It was old, rusted in places, but it glowed. A faint, supernatural light pulsed from it like a heartbeat, like it was alive, like it recognized her. Now you'd think, don't touch it. Obviously, don't touch it. And you'd be absolutely right. But remember, this is the girl who snuck past guards to hang out in markets. Caution was not her strongest trait. She reached out. Her fingers brushed the iron. And then, a prick. One tiny drop of blood. That's all it took. The room went cold. The light from the spindle exploded outward like a shockwave. Adisua's eyes widened, then slowly closed. She crumpled to the floor like a puppet whose strings had been cut. And the curse, patient, ancient, undefeated, finally collected its debt. The magic rippled through the palace like a wave. Courtiers froze mid-conversation. Servants froze mid-step. The king froze on his throne, his mouth open in a sentence he would never finish. The queen froze with her hand reaching for a cup of tea she would never drink. The entire kingdom held its breath. And then, silence. Total, absolute, haunting silence. 20 years passed. And you know what? The world moved on. Because that's what the world does. That's what Nigerians do especially. We are experts at moving on. New government? We adjust. No light for 3 days? We buy generator. Entire kingdom disappears into the forest. Ah well, wetin concern us. We have our own problems. The palace became a rumor, then a legend, then a story grandmothers told children when they misbehaved. If you don't eat your vegetables, the sleeping palace will come for you. Which makes absolutely no sense, but grandmothers are not bound by logic. Vines crawled over the walls, like nature was trying to bury the evidence. Trees grew through the courtyards. Birds nested in the throne room. Moss covered the bronze sculptures. The once magnificent palace became a green tomb, beautiful in its decay, haunting in its silence. The forest reclaimed what humans had borrowed. And for 20 years, the sleeping kingdom dreamed dreams that no one would ever hear. Until somebody decided to go looking for content. Enter Tunde, 28 years old, Abuja-based journalist, the kind of journalist who measures success not in Pulitzer Prizes, but in retweets. His bio literally read, "Chasing truth and virality, mostly virality." Tunde had heard the legend of the sleeping palace from his grandmother, who heard it from her grandmother, who probably heard it from a parrot. The chain of information was questionable at best. But Tunde smelled a story, the kind of story that gets you featured on CNN and invited to TED Talks. The kind of story that makes your ex text you, "Congratulations," at 2 a.m. So he assembled a crew. 3 people. Chidi the cameraman, who was brave until he actually had to be brave. Funke the sound engineer, who kept saying, "I have a bad feeling about this," like she was in a Marvel movie. And Amika the driver, who refused to go past the last village and told them, very sincerely, "Bros, if you enter that forest, nah you and your God." They entered the forest anyway. Because Nigerian journalists are either incredibly brave or slightly unhinged. The line is thin. The trek was brutal. Dense vegetation, mosquitoes the size of small birds, humidity that made you feel like the air itself was sweating. Chidi kept tripping over roots. Funke kept recording ambient sounds for the documentary, which was really just her way of coping with fear. Tunde marched ahead with the confidence of a man who had no idea what he was walking into. "Bros, we should turn back." Chidi whispered for the 17th time. Turn back to what? To covering local government budget meetings. A beg, Tunde replied. And then, through a gap in the trees, he saw it. The palace. Massive, ancient, covered in vines, but unmistakably magnificent. Tunde's jaw dropped. Chidi's camera almost fell. Funke whispered something that was either a prayer or a curse word. Honestly, in that moment, the two were interchangeable. Bros, Tunde breathed. We just found the story of a lifetime. They entered through what used to be the main gate, now an archway of tangled roots and flowering vines. Inside, the palace was frozen, literally frozen in time. Courtiers stood in mid-stride, their mouths open in conversations that had been paused for 2 decades. A servant held a tray of food that should have rotted years ago, but looked freshly prepared. Dust motes hung in beams of sunlight that pierced through stained glass windows, painting the stone floors in colours that belonged in a cathedral. Chidi stopped filming. Funke stopped talking. Even the forest outside seemed to go quiet, as if it knew this moment demanded reverence. Tunde walked deeper into the palace, past the frozen nobles, past the silent throne room, until he reached a chamber at the heart of it all. And there, lying on an embroidered pillow, bathed in a soft, ethereal glow that had no earthly source, was Princess Adisua. She looked like she was simply sleeping. Peaceful, serene, like she'd just closed her eyes for a moment, and the moment had lasted 20 years. Tunde stared, not with desire, not with some fairy tale notion of love at first sight. He stared with awe, with sadness, with the unmistakable feeling that he was looking at something profoundly unfair. This was not a love story, not yet. This was a man seeing injustice and feeling it in his chest. Now, in the European version of this story, the prince kisses the princess and everyone lives happily ever after. Romantic, yes. Consensual? Debatable. Realistic? Absolutely not. This is the Nigerian version, and in this version, the curse was not broken by lips, it was broken by words. Tunde sat beside Adisua. He didn't know why. He didn't understand the curse or the magic or the 20 years of thorns. But something in him, maybe it was the journalist, maybe it was the human being underneath, needed to speak. I don't know who did this to you, he said quietly. And I don't know if you can hear me. But whoever you are, you didn't deserve this. Nobody deserves to be locked away from the world because of someone else's anger. Nobody deserves to have their life paused because of a grudge they didn't start. He paused. The words were coming from somewhere deeper than he expected. You deserve to wake up. You deserve to see the sun again and eat jollof rice and argue about which state makes it better. You deserve to laugh and make mistakes and live your own story, not the one someone cursed you into. A tear rolled down his cheek. He didn't wipe it. He didn't even notice it. You deserve to be free. And that right there was the crack. The glow around Adisua pulsed. Her fingers twitched. Then her hand moved. Then her eyelids fluttered. And slowly, like dawn breaking after the longest night, she opened her eyes. The magic shattered like glass. Light exploded through the palace. The vines retreated from the walls as if they'd been burned. The frozen courtiers gasped, blinked, and stumbled forward to finish steps they'd started 2 decades ago. Birds erupted from the rafters, singing like they'd been holding their breath. The king coughed. The queen dropped her teacup, finally. The kingdom awoke, and for the first time in 20 years, the palace was alive with sound. Adisua looked at Tunde, confused, disoriented, but alive. "Who are you?" she asked. Tunde blinked. "I'm honestly not sure anymore, but I think I'm here to help." Now, waking up after 20 years is one thing. Waking up to modern Nigeria, That is a completely different level of culture shock. King Adeyemi saw a helicopter for the first time and nearly declared war on it. "What manner of metal bird is this?" he shouted, reaching for a spear that, let's not forget, was made of wood. Queen Morenike fainted when someone showed her a mobile phone. Not because of the technology, because of the battery percentage. "Only 12%, and you people live like this?" But Adisua? Adisua adapted like she was born for it. Within months, she and Tunde had turned the palace into a cultural tourism hub. Bronze sculptures were restored. The history was documented. The story was told, not as a fairy tale, but as heritage. Nigerian heritage. Edo heritage. Theirs. Tourists came from everywhere. The jollof rice stand alone was generating more revenue than the entire kingdom's former treasury. Progress. And Iya Aje? You thought she was the villain. So did I. So did everyone. But that is the danger of hearing only one side of the story. On the day the kingdom celebrated its rebirth, a figure was spotted at the forest's edge. White dreadlocks, ebony staff, those same glowing eyes, but this time she was smiling. Not the menacing smile from the naming ceremony, a different smile, a knowing one, a satisfied one. Because the curse was never punishment. It was a pause button. Iya Aje had seen what the kingdom was becoming. Insular, fearful, led by a man who banished what he didn't understand. The kingdom needed to stop, to sleep, to let the world change around it so that when it woke up, it could choose a different path. Sometimes, what looks like a curse is simply a lesson wearing a disguise. She whispered into the wind, and the wind carried her words to those who needed to hear them. The palm tree that bends in the storm does not break, but the one that refuses to bend, that one the storm takes. She turned and walked into the forest. The shadows received her like an old friend, and she was gone. The kingdom of Benin stands today, not as a relic of the past, but as a bridge between what was and what could be. The bronze sculptures still gleam, the stories are still told, and every night, when the moon rises over the palace, the people remember. Even curses have their reasons. Even sleep has its purpose. And every kingdom, no matter how long it has been forgotten, deserves the chance to wake up. Now, if you're still awake after all that, make sure you share this story. And if Nipa takes the light before the credits roll, well, that's just Nigeria reminding you that not everything has a perfect ending. But this one comes close. Good night.